Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrero. Today is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. OTAs continue this week. And before we get to what may or may not be happening with Christian McCaffrey, let's get to the schedule so you know what is coming up. Tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, practice, which will be open to the media until the team drills start, of course. After practice, we're going to hear from a few people. First up, 2 p.m. Pacific time, run game coordinator, offensive line coach Chris Forrester, one of the most interesting and informative coaches on the staff. I love his press conferences. I am sure he's going to have a lot of interesting things to say, and you will hear about those after the press conference. I'll have them for you in 49ers in 5. Of course, after Forrester, special teams coordinator Brian Schrader. Normally, I wouldn't care about the special teams coordinator, and neither should you, but because of the new kickoff rules, I'm fascinated to hear sort of what his thinking is, how the 49ers might approach it. There's actually a little bit of juice to a special teams coordinator interview, believe it or not. And of course, following Schrader, select players will have availability as well. Now, the big storyline for the 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk, we probably don't expect to show up because he still wants a contract. But what about Christian McCaffrey? We had heard from Pro Football Talk and Mike Florio that the absence of McCaffrey last week was not about his contract. So what is it about? Some people have said, well, he's getting married, he's got the wedding coming up, but that is not the case. I mean, the wedding is coming up, don't get me wrong, but it's actually at the end of June. It's like more than 30 days away. They scheduled the wedding around the 49ers offseason program, so that's not actually it. So will Christian McCaffrey show up and end all the speculation, or will he stay away again? That is definitely something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Now, you could be saying, so what? He's a running back. You can throw any running back in this Kyle Shanahan system, and it's no big deal, right? Well, not according to running backs coach Bobby Turner, who specifically denied that and debunked that myth last week.
Because we're looking for certain things, and it's got to be, you just can't throw, I know everyone, I'm speaking for myself, feels you can throw anyone into the backfield in that system that we run. I've never believed that. We put a lot of time and work in to get that system to work. And with all that time and effort we put in, if you have the right running back in there, then it does make it look easy.
So while some people may say you can throw anybody back there, clearly Bobby Turner thinks it's not anybody. It's just that we're really good at finding the running backs that fit the system so that when they get in there, they can absolutely produce at a very high level. And just like we talked about, no Brandon Aiyuk means more reps for Ricky Pearsall. Well, no Christian McCaffrey means more reps for all the running backs in the room, including rookies Isaac Guerendo and Cody Schrader. I am interested to see what they look like, as I have said many, many times. So they are set to capitalize on Christian McCaffrey's absence if, of course, it continues this week. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Tuesday. Fred Warner loves him some Nick Sorensen for a very specific reason. If you want to find out what that reason is, click the link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch. We don't know if McCaffrey's going to show up for OTAs, but we did see him behind a piano, and he's got some pretty impressive skills. If you want to watch that video, again, click the link in the description of this episode. One thing you might have missed, sad news to pass along. You've probably heard it, but it's worth acknowledging again. Bill Walton passed away. Hall of Famer in the NBA, one of the single greatest college players of all time, of course, at UCLA under John Wooden. He was 71 years old, had a battle with cancer, and unfortunately passed away yesterday. Terrible news, obviously, for anyone even remotely interested in sports and basketball. Bill Walton was one of those players that just transcended a Hall of Fame career. Much like John Madden, who was a Hall of Fame coach in the NFL, Bill Walton, people don't even think of him as a player. You think of him as an announcer and, of course, a great, great, great college player with UCLA. We are all worse off now that Bill Walton is no longer with us. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Click the bell to get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. Today, Steph Sanchez and Jason Aponte, we call it the Bully Ball Podcast. They'll be live 11:15 a.m. Pacific time. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrero. We'll talk later today.